Yo, yo, yo. What up with it? What up with it? What's going on? What's going on, people? What's up? What's up with it? What's going on out there? So y'all know we didn't shoot the fans' point of view last night, so we gonna do it the morning after. So it's the fans' point of view the morning after. That's dope. You know what I mean? Got both of them things going on, man. Both of them things going on. The game on right now, right? There's a game on, right?
I'm not sure. It's possible. I'm not sure.
Okay. I don't think so neither. I don't know, but so man, we got this floor. We got a bunch to talk about. Obviously, fresh football topics. I mean, straight football, and man, I couldn't be happier that the football season is here right now, bro. I mean, I just couldn't be, man. I couldn't be happier. Got the football season here. What a week zero, right? Opens up and we get an upset. We almost get an upset last night. Uh SMU pulls it off last minute. Preston Hodge, Preston Stone, excuse me. I said Hodge. Here I am thinking Colorado, but Preston Stone went off, and man, it was a good game. It was a good game. It just was. But I want to talk about this Florida State and Georgia Tech game um, for a couple of reasons. First of all, it was the biggest game. It's an upset. Um, Nobody expected it. You can't say that they did. I mean, look, there were what 11-point favorites, 11.5-point favorites in this game. Florida State was to win this game over Georgia Tech, unranked. Florida State being ranked 10th to an unranked team. I don't know how far they were like down on the list. I don't know on the top from the top 25 to 134. I don't know where Georgia Tech was. I could find that out while we're alive. You know what I'm saying? This is this quick search. That's all it take. But man, I mean, I did see some of the game live. Obviously, I was out with my family at the water park and everything. But I did see some of the game live, and then I had to go watch the highlights. I didn't get to watch the whole game. But you, bro, as a Miami fan, like how does this game? How do you view? How are you viewing this game? You're a Miami Hurricanes fan. How are you viewing this game? How did you take this game in? Like, what were you excited? Like, what was you thinking? Like, you know what I'm saying?
I mean, personally, when we did the show last week,
Mm-hmm.
I actually picked Florida State to win. Right? I felt like that they would be able to control, the line of scrimmage better than they did. Which obviously, when watching that game, Georgia Tech can play, established the line of scrimmage
Absolutely, they
on
did.
both sides of both sides of the ball. Me personally, Florida State's game plan. I know a lot of Florida State fans are upset. I've seen some of their reactions on Twitter, message boards. A myriad of other outlets that they're venting their frustration. And it seems to me that they felt like they were being sold. They were being sold a bag of goods by their media department in terms of the message being relayed back to the fan base in terms about how the team was progressing. But I mean, they played the way I felt they were going to play. I made mention of that, last week when we spoke. I said Florida State's going to look to run the ball. Mike Norvell and Alice Atkins are going to look to minimize how much exposure they have in terms of DJU, um, you know, somewhat putting the game on his shoulders.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, I felt like that. I'm sure the coaching staff for Florida State. Again, I'm not trying to cop any pleas, but again, like I said, one of the things that you and I try to do on here is try to be as unbiased as possible, even though we do have our vested interests, in certain teams.
Right.
Obviously, I'm a Miami fan, so that's what my vested interest is. But, I will and can be unbiased. And, probably Florida State's coaching staff probably felt like the defense was going to play better. Um, I think if they would have handled the run a little bit better, made some more plays, like it was a couple of mental errors, things like that. I think they could have successfully went in with the game plan that they implemented and won the game, but unfortunately the defense didn't show up. I think the offense did what the offense was going to do. And in closing, before I pass it back to you, I do see some individuals that are making the proclamation that, well, hey, if Jordan Travis was here, that would have been a W last night. But me
Mm-mm.
personally, I felt like in terms of Florida State's offense, the biggest driving force of that offense really was Benson, not necessarily Jordan Travis, because I felt like Jordan Travis may have gotten elevated some due to the fact of having a Johnny Wilson and a Keon Coleman. And you can go back and there will be media pundits as well as fans that said that, well, Keon Coleman was underutilized last year. So to me, what does that say? That says that the offense or the play caller made it their mission to put the game or put the offense in the hands of the most trusted person, and that just
Mm-hmm.
ended up being Benson last year. So I think them missing Benson, and they have a nice selection of running backs, but I mean Benson was just so sudden, so fast, so powerful, just a myriad of different things that they're missing. But like I said, I'm gonna pass it back over to you.
Bro, I think honestly, bro, I think he hit the nail. I think you hit the nail on the hammer, bro. When you hit him, you know what I'm saying, the nail. When you said they didn't establish the line of scrimmage. From what I saw, it was in the first quarter, almost to halftime. Georgia Tech was taking it to their ass. Let's just call it what it was. Georgia Tech established the line of scrimmage and was pushing their ass all over that field. Hayes King and Jamal Hayes was doing what they wanted on offense. So and Alex Atkins, the OC for Florida State under Mike Neville, just didn't. It looked like he was calling a game that was he was timid in that game. Was he calling a scared game? I mean, just let's just call it what it was. Was he calling a scared game? We don't know. We can speculate and say that he was calling a scared game or that he was scared to, but we know what Mike, like you said, Mike Norvell likes to throw screen passes, short dink and dunks. DJU did not lose Florida State that game. I've seen him being ridiculed. He was on your page, on X. I seen that, and DJU didn't lose that game for Florida State. First off, so I want to say that to any Florida State fan out there, I felt like DJU may have lost that game. That has nothing to do with DJU. Your trenches, that your first round draft pick defensive lineman that you thought you had at Florida State. I don't know if they're first rounders. Maybe they'll pick it up. Maybe they'll pick it up. Maybe Georgia Tech is better than what we thought they were, ladies and gentlemen. Let's just call it what it is, okay? Buster Faulkner, the OC for Georgia Tech, called a hell of a game, and so did Tyler Santucci, the defensive coordinator. They called hell of a game, man. The DC for Georgia Tech is also a linebacker coach. The OC for Georgia Tech is also a tight end coach. Tight ends want to establish the line of scrimmage. Linebackers stop the run. And that's exactly what they did. They held Florida State down. Those OCs and DCs did exactly what they were supposed to do in that game. And he called a hell of a game for that. You know what I mean? Georgia Tech did. And man, I mean, I only took Georgia Tech because of the spread. Let me just keep it a buck. I took Georgia Tech to win because of the spread of the game, not because I thought they were actually going to win. I thought it would be closer. I thought it would be like a 3-point swing either way. So I'm not going to sit here and act like I knew Georgia Tech was going to finish the game over top of Florida State. I'm not going to sit here and act like that. No, they were 11.5-point favorites. That's why I wrote with Georgia Tech with 11.5 points, because I figured they'll cover that. And they did, but they wound up pulling out the W. And I think we need to show some love up to the OC and the DC of Georgia Tech, because they called a hell of a game. And I don't think that the DC, Adam Fuller for Florida State, called a bad game either. I don't think he did. I just don't think he did, man. I don't think he caught a bad game. I think it was a very good game, competitive game. We have to remember Hayes King is what is he, a senior now? If I'm not mistaken, bro, he's a senior. Right. Hayes King is a senior. Jamal Hayes in the backfield, an experienced running back there coming back. He knows what he's doing. He's also a wide receiver running back. He plays more than one position. He's very familiar with that offense and what that offense can do and what he can be at, the weapon he can be in that Georgia Tech offense. So let's not be too hard on that. Florida State very may well bounce back during this season and get some hard W's out of this. I think this is just a preview of what we're going to see this season, ladies and gentlemen. Like, I really do. This is a preview of what we're going to see this season. This is not going to be the only upset. I don't think so that we're going to see this football season. Whether it happens week 1, week 2, week 3, so forth and so on. I don't mind that. QB says he caught a game that was reminiscent of the backup QBs from last year. Yeah, yeah, okay. I could dig that because you heard me say like was he scared to call the game, right? You know what I mean? They replaced a lot of talent with portal players. Yeah. Um, what you got to say to that before I go into that? They replaced a lot of talent with portal players.
I mean, the interesting thing about all of this is that they have a bye week this week. They're not playing in consecutive weeks, so they're not gonna play this upcoming Saturday. So in reality, they have an opportunity to me, in the grand scheme of this, they could look at this somewhat as like, okay, a scrimmage, right? Okay, this
Mm-hmm.
was a practice. Obviously, it counts in the win loss column, but they can look at this and say, okay, well, these are some of the strategies that we felt like were going to work, and they didn't come to fruition. So we don't have to immediately go right back into game prep for our second opponent. We can take a couple of days to focus on us and figure out where the disconnect was. Whether was it the traveling, right? Obviously, people are gonna conjure up all type of excuses. Was it guys too full of themselves, had
Yeah.
contentments, had complacency, not contentment, but as a sense of complacency stepped in, right? So Mike Norvell has an opportunity to, he and his coaching staff, they have an opportunity this upcoming week to focus back on them. And then the following week, they can get right back into game prep again, where they're going to
Mm-hmm.
be playing Mike Norvell's previous job, Memphis. Um, so, again, this was a game where two teams, again,
Mm-hmm.
the weather permitted for them to do exactly what they wanted to do. Georgia Tech led the ACC in rushing last year. Florida State was a very potent running team last year as well. So I mean, it was a good game. You know what I mean?
It
I mean,
was. It was.
that's what
It
I can take
was.
away from it. It
It
was a good
was, bro.
game. There was some big time plays. Florida State kicker, I
Yeah.
believe, nailed a 59-yard field goal
Right.
in on a wet surface, right?
Right.
Which the difficulty level of that rises exponentially, right? Because
Right.
you gotta make sure the snap is clean. The holder has to make sure the ball is down, and then the kicker has to make sure that make sure that they have got
Driving that
enough of
ball is not
yeah,
easy.
driving and making sure that they're not in a wet spot to
Right.
where by the time they make contact with the ball, they're falling. So I mean, like I said, it's a lot of positives. But again, I know we're gonna shift the conversation, which you shifted the conversation to talk more so about Georgia Tech. I've kind of been on the Florida State side of things, but kind of speaking about Georgia Tech. I
You could talk
mean,
about both sides.
no, yeah, I know, but what I'm saying, I kind of put the cape on for Florida State in my opening statement. I didn't really speak too much about Georgia Tech, and you kind of covered both. But to kind of get back over to Georgia Tech, their head coach Brent Fry, not Brent Fry, Brent
Brent
Key. I'm
Pry.
sorry, I thought it was
Pry.
Brent Key.
Brent Key. Yeah.
Yeah,
Go.
Brent Fry is at Virginia Tech.
Yeah. That
Yeah,
Pry Key. I know what you
Brian
meant though.
Fry. Yeah. So Brent Key, um, they don't have the most talent in the world over there at Georgia Tech. But again, similar to Florida State, they can look at this game film again, not immediately get back into prep. The greatest significance of this is that is a conference win. We are the ACC is now divisionless, so by default, simply because there's not any more games being other games that were played except for SMU, but that was not a conference foe that they played. But Georgia Tech is atop of the ACC right now. Um, I think Haynes King, his stat line wasn't the best. He didn't throw a touchdown. He missed Nicholas Singleton on a for sure touchdown. He just overthrew the ball. Um, Again, I think once they get on a dry surface, they have a lot of speed. So I think once they get on a dry surface, I think Haynes King will really shine. He shined yesterday. The toughness that he showed yesterday, the toughness of that particular team, that Georgia Tech showed. And again, going back to one of the shows that I recently recorded over on the Canes Roundtable. Georgia Tech was one of those games that I said, we can look at the schedule all we want to, in terms of saying that it's favorable, but you got to kind of look at what teams have done. You got to kind of look at what teams have improved in. And I'll say this, and I give it back to you. One of the comments that the commentators made in that game was that the new defensive coordinator that they hired
Mm-hmm.
was a defensive coordinator at Duke, learned under Mike Elko, and so Mike Elko is one of those premier, defensive coordinators. So essentially they've gotten a guy that's off of his particular tree, and they went and got a recruit by the name of, well, a transfer by the name of Romello Height, which was a big time guy, went out to USC. He flashed a few times. So I mean, they have all of the ingredients, to make this ACC race, interesting. And I know a lot of people are going to take a lot away from a week one game, but again, it's just week one. You still have a lot to work on. And I'll say this in closing: for a first game of the season, it wasn't heavily penalized,
Mm-mm.
which to
Mm-mm.
me, shows that those coaching staffs, as well as the players, because you can't just give all the credit to the coaching staff. Those players showed a lot of self-discipline. There wasn't a lot of false starts. There weren't a lot of holdings. I know one of the bigger penalties that happened was a Romello Height sack where he, ended up grabbing DJ U's face mask. I remember it was a pass interference call, but those are the type of things that are just gonna happen in play. But there weren't any false starts. There weren't any delay of games. Jumping off sides. Things like that. So from a penalty standpoint, I do think that both coaching staffs they can chalk that up and say, okay, well, you know, the guys are not doing things that are going to cause themselves to be put in situations that make the goal of victory harder. So I do think you have to take that away from it as well.
That's where they won the game at. You see where they won the game at, running the ball, man. I mean, look, and it was close. 30 rushes, 36 rushes. Florida State had 52% success rate running the ball. I mean, Georgia Tech had a 69%. You know what I mean? So look, I mean, it was a very close game. I just wanted to go scroll through the stats while you were talking, so people can actually have some kind of a visual. And I showed all of the stats; they're on there. If you need to rewind the show, you can. Um, but all the categories are on there for the stat line of the game, just to show it's not on DJU, man. Zero interceptions he threw, was 19 for 27, 193 yards. Got sacked one time. He didn't lose the game. Although I think that the play calling was timid, and I will say that again. But man, look, they played a good game, man. I picked up Jamal Haynes, man. He had two touchdowns. He had 11 carries, 75 yards, and two touchdowns. Um, I think that was a good pick for me. What you think? What you think, bro? As far as
Oh,
fantasy go.
oh yeah, he's gonna get a nice workload. Like I said,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
versatility that he brings is going to be something that teams are going to have to, game
Account
plan
for, huh?
for. Yeah, yeah,
Right,
most
right.
definitely, most definitely.
For sure. For sure. I'm excited to have him on my fantasy team for sure though, bro. But yeah, man. So, the that game was a good game, man, all the way through. And I think we did a hell of a job breaking that shit down, man. I mean, I don't think you can break it down no better than what we did, brother. For real, for real. I mean, we broke it down pretty good to show the stats and everything. So, talking about some other games that may be coming up here in the future, that's coming up in the future here, right? Um, UNC and Minnesota, right? PJ Fleck doing this thing. Um, I think Minnesota is the heavy favorites to win this game. And not the heavy favorite. I think they're not heavy, but they are the favorite to win this game, right? I want to see the point spread. I don't think it's about much. I think it's about like 2 points or something like that. I don't want to just guess, but I think North Carolina will beat them, man. I think North Carolina will beat Minnesota, man. If the one thing I'm saying right now, all right, is that Omarion Hampton is there over at UNC. Unk. We call him Unk. We gonna call him Unk, right? They over there, Unk. They're gonna want to establish the line of scrimmage, just like another game that we just saw, and I believe they will be able to be that to do that and be successful. I don't think that their quarterback is going to drop way off the reservoir, and they're gonna, probably play a timid game. Although I think he could, but they're not going to drop so far off the reservoir with the QB they have now over at UNC. I don't know how Minnesota is favorites. I mean, I'm not saying that Minnesota's terrible because they always have been like a type of a blue blood program. From what I'm learning out here, they always have been a blue blood program out there in the college football world. So I don't want to sleep on what they're doing. What PJ Fleck, head coach over there at Minnesota, is doing right now. But if I gotta go with somebody to win this game before I pass it to you, and then we could go back and forth with it. I'm going with UNC, man. I gotta go with UNC. They got the stronger run game. Even though I feel that Minnesota may have a better overall game plan for them, but I just don't see UNC giving this game up, man. I just don't see it, bro. Maybe you could convince people out there that Minnesota will beat UNC. I don't see it though. What you think?
I mean, me personally, like I said, I'm not. I know Minnesota had a decent year last year. I'm not gonna say an exceptional year. They had a decent year last year. I think they're building some things right now. Again, like I said, in the age of the transfer portal, it's really hard to really just say for a fact, hey, this team is going to be the one that's going to be the prevailing favorite. If you would have looked at this game again maybe 5 years ago, you'll say, hey, no brainer. UNC pulls it out because UNC has a little bit more cachet in their conference, which is the ACC, whereas Minnesota is one of the below, kind of average programs in the Big Ten. But, you know, with what's going on now, they very well could, pull it out. I think I was listening to Coach Hayes. He had a guy on his show the other day, and he brought up North Carolina, and he said that they'll probably be rotating back and forth between both quarterbacks. So anytime I hear something like that,
What's
to
good,
me is to me it's a red flag. To me
JB?
it's a red flag because it tells me that you can look at it the glass half full, you can look at it half empty. You can look at it half full and say, hey, the competition is so fierce we can't pick somebody. Or you can
Yeah,
look at it half empty and say, hey, look, we both guys are up and down. One guy has a good day, the other one has a bad day, and then it's vice versa throughout the rest. So, but I will say this: I know even when Drake May got the starting nod at UNC, I think his initial season leading up to being named the starter, I think he was enthralled into a very tough competition where he ended up, actually pulling it out. So, so that's not something that UNC is kind of a stranger to. But
all right.
I do think that the sooner they get this figured out, I think the better the better it is. They have a new defensive coordinator, Jeff Collins, who is known to be an aggressive, DC. There's some athletes over there on the UNC roster. I do think the defense has been one of the biggest Achilles heels for that program. So if Jeff Collins can show that, he can get that defense into shape, then I think they can, take a little pressure off of, Omari and Hampton because, you may can get in a situation where you force some turnovers.
Man, that boy.
But like you said, again, have to establish the line of scrimmage. And one thing we know about Big Ten football, with the exception of Ohio State,
Mm-hmm.
establishing the line of scrimmage, especially along the offensive line, is something that those teams do very well. So UNC is going to have to be prepared. Um, they're going to be prepared for that. You know what I mean? Like I said, it's a lot
Mm-hmm.
of enthusiasm at Minnesota. Like you said, some people feel like they are the favorite to win this particular game, and like I said, they very well may should be. I know that's not correct English, but We're not a grammatical channel over here, so
Right.
excuse my
Man, you
excuse,
good.
excuse my grammar. But I don't know. I'm 0 for 1 right now, but it is what it is. But I probably would. I probably would lean towards UNC in this game too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I mean, yeah. I mean, well, now I think now listen. We supposed to get another good game up out of this one. I mean, according to what they're putting down out there as far as the world. But look, they have not been right. Let's just call it what it is. Vegas has been off a little bit, bro. I don't know what's going on with college football. Is this must be the change that we're seeing with the transfer portal in college football? We might be headed into that a little bit faster than what we think, y'all. Like realistically, look at what's going on, right? I mean, 11 and a half point favorite. I mean, under 11 and a half point underdog winds up winning the game by 3. A 27 and a half point underdog winds up losing a game by what 3, right? Um Correct me when I'm wrong out there because that was I'm talking to SMU and the SMU and Nevada game, right? They lost by 5. I'm sorry. Nevada lost by 5. So they still covered that 27 and a half points. SMU was supposed to take it to them. They were supposed to smack Nevada. And they almost did not smack them. I mean, they just didn't. I mean, look, Nevada came out early in that game, and for a while they established a line of scrimmage. But I don't want to get into talking about that game right now. I'm just saying, like, what I'm saying is that they've been wrong a little bit, bro. We've been, and I think that may be seeing a lot of the transfer portal. Some guys are hitting. It's like the lottery, bro. You don't really know what you're getting because it may be a kid that was disgruntled or a young man that was disgruntled at his old school, didn't want to be there for whatever reason that was, and now they're at a new school. So look, you buy your lottery ticket. Do you hit your number or not? Right? You get your kid. Do you know how to develop at your program or not? And some of these coaches are developing well, and some just aren't. But look, North Carolina's only of 1.5 point underdog in this game. That's it. So it's supposed to be a good game according to what they're doing. But like I said, so you got to look into. We have to start looking into more of what these coaches are doing. And I've heard before out there in this metaverse or what this internet that college coaching is underrated. And I strongly disagree with that. I strongly disagree with coaches being underrated. Now, if you got talent on your team, you got talent. But let's just say, right? Florida State building their team out of the portal for 2 years in a row. Is it going to work? Does it work? Would y'all say that it works? I mean, I'm not going to say that it doesn't work because you're able to plug and play guys. Some teams are able to plug and play rather than just going into the portal and grabbing guys. I know we're talking about the Minnesota and UNC game, but I'm talking about coaches and what you're able to do out there and just bouncing around a little bit with it. But anyway, coaching is very important in this collegiate football world. It is. It just is. Do they know what they're doing? PJ Fleck, Greg Harbaugh, the OC over there, the co-OC over there, and the Matt Simon with the receivers. These guys all have to come together, be on one accord, be together for a couple of years, and I believe that's what makes Minnesota a favorite in this game, not by much, is the way that their staff has been together. They have that continuity. They have that cohesiveness. They've been together. They know what each other's looking for, and that matters in this game, especially in them being in the Big Ten. It will be a good game. But like I just think Omarion Hampton's supposed to be one of the best running backs in college football this year, hands down. Um, you could probably strongly say that it's between 3 guys. If you know what I mean, college football, whatever you play the game, however it is. Ollie Gordon, Quinshawn Junkins, and Omarion Hampton. You're going to hear those names in everybody's top 5 for college running backs this season. You're going to hear those names, and that's why I'm picking UNC to win this game, man. I think UNC will win this game, even though they have a hell of a staff over there. PJ Fleck with Minnesota. Not going to sleep on that staff, but I think that they win that game, man. But I'm gonna move on, man. I'm from this game, y'all. I appreciate y'all up out there. What's going on there? LMVP out there in the building. KMS 929 in the building. QB in the building. What's good with you, JB? We're gonna open up after, man. After the fans' point of view. You know what I'm saying? You know how we do it, but yeah, man, we kicking it right now, man. You know, talking about these games, bruh. These games that's coming up. These games have been crazy, y'all. Y'all cannot deny that out there, y'all. These games have been like things are not going everybody's way right now. To what some people have been known this game for a long time, been doing a lot of research in this game of college football. It has not been going their way. It has not. And I'm sure it hasn't. Like you're like, wow, everything I learned, everything I thought I knew about the game of college football, things are changing, which brings up a lot of questions, and what's is going to bring up a lot of questions, right? Especially for a game like this. Do the way that things are going, like and everything. I know Dion has not done things the traditional way over there at Colorado, but we're not seeing tradition happen. We're seeing things shift. Does Colorado did he hit on these guys? Did he miss? I mean, we don't know, right? We just don't know. It's just a big question mark sitting in front of us, all around us, lost, confused. Because let's just call it what it is. 2 years ago, you'd be able to say, okay, yeah, Florida State could beat Georgia Tech, right? Easy, right? I don't know. I'm just asking. You know, I'm asking people at this point. I'm just kind of throwing it out there, right? Like SMU just smacks Nevada. That's just what it's supposed to happen, right? Colorado has been heavily in the transfer portal, 40 players, right? 40 players out of the transfer portal. Is that the new way to go? But they got a hell of a blue Division 1 AA or whatever they are, right? Am I correct with that? That's what North Dakota State is, right? University, right? That's what they are, right? I don't know neither. I don't know.
I don't know.
I'm asking.
I don't know
I
the
don't know.
classification.
I
I
know
just
they're
know
not.
they're an FCS team.
Yeah, I know they're FCS, right? I know they're FCS, right? But they're one of the blue bloods in the FCS, right? They, you know, South Dakota, North Dakota, South State universities have been putting in that work, right? You got the Jackrabbits and the Bisons, South Dakota, North Dakota. I don't know who goes up there, but I'm just saying, like, I don't know. But this game here is important as any other game, I believe. Because, like you said, it relies on the line of scrimmage. And I don't know if you had the chance to watch our last show, Shad, but right after the fans' point of view last week, we went into the fans' point of view. Like we just, you know, the open panel. I opened up the show. We went into the panels with the Raw High fam and everything right after. I believe it was Bishop that came on. But anyway, there was a guy who had filmed the scrimmage, right, of Colorado. And we watched it. And, you know, it just didn't look too well. The offensive line didn't look too good. Long story short, in that scrimmage, it's still up there. We're the only, by the way, fans' point of view, and we are the only people that have that scrimmage up to this day. I know you laughing, bro, but that's the truth, bro. We are the only people that have that scrimmage. Like it's the only. We are the only channel that has that scrimmage up there. They took it down off of every platform, off of every social media. It's up there. She said, everything I'm seeing, Colorado a playoff team. I can't disagree with that, and I can't agree with that right now. You know what I'm saying? Question marks. 2 is that dude. Shedeur Sanders is that dude. I mean, everything that you're supposed to say with that team, you know, when you got supposed to have 8 NFL players, 2 Heisman candidates, Shedeur Sanders, Travis Hunter. History has shown that you're supposed to sweep the tape, run the board. You're supposed to just run the tables. There should be no 6 to 8 wins, 8 to 10 wins. Nobody's done that. Like I can't remember. Shout out to Alfaru because he says this all the time, right? He'd be like, the last time that's been done, 2 Heisman candidates on the same team was Reggie Bush and Matt Leinart. Is that a lie? Shaq?
Put it in context again.
2 Heisman candidates, right? Has
Yeah.
never been on the same team since.
Is he saying 2 Heisman candidates or 2 Heisman winners? Because those are 2 different questions. Now, if he said 2 Heisman
candidates, 2
winners,
Heisman preseason candidates, right? That hasn't been.
oh well then, no, that's not a true statement.
Okay,
Now,
so
if he was saying there were
okay.
2 Heisman Trophy winners on the team together,
Uh-huh.
and it hasn't been done since Matt Leinart and Reggie Bush, then that would be a correct statement because
Okay.
Matt Leinart won the Heisman in 04, and Reggie Bush ended up winning it in 05, even though it was taken away, but he won it.
So when was the
that
last
statement
time
is
that
true.
2 preseason? So when's the last time 2 preseason Heisman lookout candidates, however they put that, lookout, watch out for the list, was on the same team?
You could probably look at that 2020, maybe Alabama team.
Okay. All right. So 2020 probably was the last time that happened. But okay.
You could probably go back a little bit further, maybe like
So what did the 2020 Alabama team do? Like, where was their record? Matter of fact, we probably could.
They won a national title. Devontae
Right.
Smith ended up winning the Heisman.
Right.
Najee Harris was in the Heisman ranking as well as
Mac Jones, right? That was Mac Jones' team.
Yeah, Mac Jones. Yeah. So
Okay.
all three of them were, in the running for it. So
right.
Yeah.
Okay. So you got to win a national title, right? There's no, we might get 8-10 wins out of that. That's just what it is, right? That's just what it is, man. But Colorado should beat the shit out of them, man. Excuse my language, bro. I don't even like to cuss on the show, but I sometimes be slipping up.
Why? Why should they beat them?
They should, bro. They're pure talent, Shaq.
What pure talent do they have?
Like I said, first of all, right? Hold up, bro. This is what they're feeding us, right? This is what they're feeding us, Colorado fans out there, right? They're telling us this. This is what they're telling us, Shaq. Okay. We got 8 guys who may go to the NFL. 8 guys. Preston Hodge.
That's not a lot. That's not a lot.
Green, Dayon Hayes.
That's not
Trevor Woods. Shiloh Sanders.
That's not.
Should I keep going on? Should I keep going on and on? And this is just the defense like this is supposed to be popping off all crazy. LaJohntay Wester, Will Shepard. This is what they're telling us, Colorado fans. They get me hyped. See, and I be trying to be calm, and I really be trying to keep my composure when I get to talking about this, right? But they feeding us this, right? They telling us this. This is what they telling me. And then they say, Shedeur Sanders, he can win the Heisman Trophy, and I believe he can. Is Shedeur Sanders a Heisman? Do you think Shedeur Sanders can win the Heisman in college football?
No.
See, hold up now. Hold up now. See, you saying all right? You saying something about my QB now? I ain't about to take that shit. Hold on now. Let me button up real quick. Hold on. Now, Travis Hunter supposed to be another Heisman candidate. They already put these guys as preseason Heisman watch list. They're on the preseason Heisman watch list already. So we ain't really got to argue that. This is what PFF and everybody else is telling all of us out there. That's what they telling us now. They telling us this. They feed me this, bro. Travis Hunter and Shedeur Sanders is already on the preseason Heisman candidate watch list. Man, y'all hurt my feelings today, man. I'ma just keep it a buck. I'm emotional right now. Y'all got me everywhere right now. Shad telling me Shedeur ain't no Heisman candidate quarterback.
I
I
didn't
got Tatum
say
as
I didn't say he wasn't
99
a candidate.
and the thing. The DP telling me Colorado might catch an L. Then he said North Dakota State is not the same as the back in the day, but people be recruiting their players. And then he said, you know what I'm saying? Okay, 929 said Travis needs to stay healthy. Travis ain't winning. Chubb, see, you might be the mid at best. Oh my God, why is y'all hurting my feelings about my? Why is y'all doing this to me now? Why didn't y'all tell me this a couple of months ago? Why didn't you tell me this a couple of weeks ago? Now y'all just want to come out and tell me this right now? Like, are y'all serious? Like, bro, this what they telling us, bro. They out here telling us this. Dion just got we got NFL, we got 8 NFL players.
Oh my God.
And I get it. NFL players don't mean that they NFL starters, don't mean that they'll get drafted. You gotta watch the lingo.
You gotta watch the language because you can
Right.
get picked up as an undrafted free agent.
Right. You get picked up as an undrafted free agent and go work out for some teams and try to make their roster. Gotta watch the lingo. I get that part, right? But y'all telling me that we don't got two. Oh my goodness, bro. Come on, man. Hey, man. Why don't you think Shador Sanders is going to be a Heisman candidate, a Heisman quarterback? What are we talking about?
I didn't say he couldn't be a candidate. I said he wasn't going to win.
Why wouldn't he win? Because he's not because the season.
I don't feel like that he will have enough. I thought they said they're gonna run the ball this year.
That's what.
The level has been intensified. The level has been increased about the statistical output that you need to have to be a Heisman Trophy winner. I remember the year that I don't know if it was Kyler Murray or was it Mac Jones' year. I mean, Devontae Smith. But anyway, you had three quarterbacks that had in excess of 45 touchdown passes. That was Kyle Trask,
Yeah.
um, this Dwayne Haskins, and I can't remember. And yeah, that was a Joe Burrow year. So you're
Okay.
talking about three guys, and Joe Burrow had almost 60 passing touchdowns. So all three of those guys were non-movers. So in order for
Okay.
Shador to even get into this particular conversation, we're talking about a guy that's going to have to throw in excess of 45 touchdown passes. I don't even think Shador had a year in his SWAT career in the 2 years he was
Mm,
there in which he threw 45 touchdown passes. You can fact check it, but I don't think he threw 45 touchdown passes. I think it was maybe 36, 37 or something like that. So that's the bare minimum that you need to have. And then also you need to have your team in contention to win obviously your particular conference. Because again, now if
hold
he
on,
was
hold
a
on. Didn't,
mover,
didn't, didn't Daniels just do it at LSU? They didn't win
but what I'm
nothing, but
saying, we're talking about that's what I said. The standard for a person that is a non-mover, that's the standard for them.
uh
Now, if you're a person that can move, the standard gets lower, which is why a guy like RG3 was able to win it when I think his team man went I think they may have went 8-4 or 9-3 or something like that. Like it wasn't like they didn't win the Big 12. They weren't in national title contention. So, but again, for a non-mover like Shador Sanders,
hmm
in order to even get onto this conversation, we're talking about 45 touchdown passes. Minimum. How many did he throw last year? Even though he didn't finish the season, how many he threw? 20 what?
20, I think it's 20, 26, something like that. 26,
So
27.
he has to improve his output from 26, 27 to 45 touchdown passes.
Mm-mm-mm.
And individuals are saying they're gonna run the ball more.
Wow. All right,
Yeah,
man. I mean,
I don't see it.
this is just what they see. That's what I be saying, man. See, so in this game, and you gotta pick a winner, man. Because we just, I mean, look, it's just we
What is
don't
the
know
what's the spread?
on this game. 9 points, man.
Colorado favored by 9 points against North Dakota State
Nine and a
University.
half points, man.
Oh my God.
9.5 points, man.
I mean they should win,
We should
but
beat the snot out of them.
I don't know, man. It's 50-50 to me.
It's a 50-50 game.
To me it is.
What?
50-50, man.
Man, that's like, see, that's almost that's I can't. Come on, brother. Come on, Shay. You my
50-50.
brother. Come on.
It's a
We
50-50.
go.
It's a 50-50 game. two players without a supporting cast. See, this is the interesting thing about all this, right? Let's go back to the statement about Reggie Bush and Matt Leinart,
Okay.
right? They were surrounded by because this is what's missed in this. That was a great team, not a good team, a great team. It just so happens that those two individuals just happen to be the two shining lights on that team. Same thing goes for like '08 Florida. Percy Harvin and Tim Tebow just happened to be the people that stood out on a great team. We're talking about two individuals that are good on a bad team. One player, again, has not played a full season of collegiate football. So we don't know what the durability is in this. So
Mm.
I mean, it's a
Well, the
50-50 game to me,
durability.
man.
What you mean by durability? What SCU? What you talking about?
When did Travis Hunter finish the season in college football?
He hasn't, man. Travis Hunter has been unhealthy, man. We know that, man. Travis Hunter has been unhealthy, bro. I ain't gonna lie, he has been. He has been. I mean,
Shedeur Sanders didn't even finish the season last year.
no, he didn't. He didn't. But look, man, we went out there and we got some improvements on our offensive line, man. We got
Who
some
are these
improvements.
people?
Man, we went and we got Justin Mayers from UTEP. We got Tyler Johnson from Houston. We got Khalil Benson from Indiana. We just picked up two new guys. I can't even remember their names. We just got with some more depth pieces, but let's not forget about big old strong old Tyler Brown on the offensive line, Hank Zaliskas at center. Let's not forget these guys that's on this offensive line. Like come on now. Like they better than what the guys look like last year. They might be slightly better, you know what I'm saying? The only thing that I'm worried about with them is the cohesion they may have or may not have or going on. That's what I'm thinking.
Hey, 50-50 game, man. Yeah.
Man, all right, man. Shador
But you
Sanders
know
is
what?
the X
But you know
factor.
what? I'll lean to. But you know what? I can't because I don't know. I don't know. North Dakota State. They didn't win the national title last year. I think they.
No, South
I think.
Dakota State.
Yeah, I think they may have won 9, maybe 10 games last year, or something like that. So, I mean, that's still a formidable team. I know, like my guy Daryl Page said that the portal has taken some of their better talent, which to me should tell you that even at North Dakota State, you can get players that are good enough to play at the Power 4
Yeah.
level. So, I mean, all in all, the Colorado roster, with the exception of maybe a handful of guys, we're probably talking about two teams with the same talent composition.
Man, look, see you gonna win this game, man. We just out talent North Dakota. There's no way North Dakota State should be able to hold any of our guys. LeJohntay Wester, Will Shepard, Jimmy Horn Jr., uh, Dallin Hayden in the backfield. Even if Shador just got a dump pass it to him, might not run the ball that well, but I mean, come on, Travis Hunter on off, like, come on, man. Shador Sanders don't
I
dropping
know,
them
man.
dimes in them guys, but come on, man. Like they
They
just
should
got too
win.
much weapons. I
They
think
should win.
they just have too much weapons from North Dakota State.
They
North
should.
Dakota State should not even be on the field with us. They shouldn't. North Dakota State shouldn't even be on the same field as us. We have way too many weapons, and Shador Sanders is too much. Like, yes, that's what I'm saying now. To now, like skilled players, they like you said, are no competition. What do you mean by that? Skilled players are no competition. What do you think she means? Like somebody means by that? Skilled players are no competition.
Oh, I don't know.
I'm
Uh,
just saying, like that's what
I
I'm
mean, if
saying. Yeah,
she's
the skilled
saying that
players are no comp.
If
Yeah,
she's saying it's Colorado skill players or like there's no
wages way
competition
better.
between them,
Yeah, like
yeah.
there's
But
this night and
again,
day.
the game is not decided on the outside. The game is decided on the inside.
Man,
So
inside that they'll do
is
well
the
enough to
is
protect
their
food.
offensive line better than North Dakota State's defensive line and vice versa? That's where the game is going to be
Absolutely,
decided.
absolutely, like absolutely, without a doubt. Like I mean,
Mhm.
they gonna hold that line long enough for two. All you got to do is give Shador this. Give Shador this. That's all y'all need to do. Colorado. I'm talking to
Hey,
all the Colorado Buffaloes right now.
hey,
If y'all listening to the fans' point of view on Truck and Chubby, all y'all got to do is give Shador Sanders one Mississippi, two Mississippi touchdown. That's all you got to give that man. That's it. That's
I
all you
thought
got to give him.
didn't
That's
he hold
all.
about? Didn't he hold the ball a lot last year? Because guys couldn't get open.
Man.
I believe
Nah,
that was
that
one
well,
of I
that's
believe that was
why
one of the talking points last year.
that
That I
yeah,
think
I
Dion said
agree.
that
I agree. But
Shador.
that's why we went out and we went and grabbed some more receivers because those receivers, let me just be blank. Them fools didn't remember a choice route. The fools couldn't
But y'all
remember a
got a new
choice
offense.
route.
Y'all got a new offensive coordinator though.
You feel me? Oh yeah, I mean Pat Schumer, he up in there. Pat Schumer up in there.
Man,
He brand spanking new. You feel me?
man.
Pat Schumer, he in there. He brand new. He ran a little bit of shot. He ran Sean Lewis's offense at the end of the year. So this is Pat Schumer's first year coming in there. We get some bumps and bruises. We'll bump our head on the North Dakota State game, but we still would win just because of the talent that we have over them. You can't cover every. You can't. It's just the talent is what gets us to win at the North Dakota State game. Okay, that's what gets us to win. I think we beat them more. I think we beat them by 10. I think we beat them by 10. I do. I think we beat them by 10. We covered the 9.5 points. I think we do that. I think we beat them by 10. That's just what this. Our talent is just too much for them. And then when it comes to their offensive line, like we talked about our offensive line, the Colorado offensive line, but we're not talking about. He said, prove y'all have more talent. Or you biasing off of stars? I'm not biasing off of stars, Studio One. What I'm basing this off of is just the sheer like studio. Like, come on, like what are we talking about, dog? Like we know these wide receivers have more. North Dakota State can't cover everybody on that team, bro. They can't cover Will Shepherd, LaJohntay Wester. They can't cover Jimmy Horn Jr., all those guys at the same time. They just can't do it. There's no way. And then all you got to do is just give Shador a second and a half. Give him a second and a half, bro. I mean, he wasn't even getting that last year. It was like, said, go. Oh, they coming. Just give him 1, 2. Just give him that. Just give him that. He'll put it on the money. He gonna put it on the money and go off. Stop laughing, Chad. You gonna make me laugh, bro. Chill.
Oh man,
Bruh, hey,
this is masterful.
it is. But listen, anyway, there's no way, bro, that we gotta win. That's what I'm saying. We stopped the run. North Dakota State is just they're done. They're done. And they better not fall behind us. They better not fall behind us. They
I
better
can
not
agree with
fall
that.
behind us. Because if they fall behind us, them dogs is coming. They coming. Do you hear me? They coming. Let's go. You feel me? And Deion Hayes is coming to getting them sacks. It's over with. Like that shouldn't even be a game. I don't even want to open up the playbook that much for North Dakota State. We should be able to run 3 offensive plays on them. That's a bubble screen, a screen, and a run. And that's it. That's all we need to beat North Dakota State. That's it. That's the 3 plays. That's the 3 plays that we running. That's it. And then on defense, that's it. They better not fall behind. I am bringing reality to the CU fans, man. I am bringing reality. Like the reality is like right studio. The reality is that honestly, I can't get on here and say that CU is going to lose. I have not seen CU yet, right? But I do want Deion to be successful. I am not a born and raised Colorado Buffalo fan. No, I am a Deion Sanders fan of Colorado. Okay, that's what that is, right? Okay, we got that clear. I don't agree with everything he does. I don't agree with a lot of the shit that they say and the shit that they feed us in the media, right? But I do believe that we should beat North Dakota State. I do believe we should beat North Dakota State just off the, and I'm being honest, and I don't think I'm lying to people out there or not being a realist or bringing reality to them when I'm saying that we have a lot more talent than they do. And the new head coaches, the new defensive coordinator, offensive coordinator, first year being there, that our talent should be able to help them skim through this win of this game. I think they may cover, but they may not. But we should get the win. You know what I mean? We should get the win because of the talent. Now, when it comes to Nebraska, I'm bringing them a reality like y'all. Like that's a Big Ten team that is established in the trenches, and we gonna see what we made of week 1. But right now, I gotta go with CU to beat North Dakota State. But Shad said it's 50-50. Um, I'm going with CU though, and I just was trying to bring my argument with that. Like I think that we should beat them. And I mean, it's not bad to say that they should win. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. When they bad, they bad. You know what I'm saying? But when they looking good, I gotta praise them. I can't just, you know what I mean? That's reality. That's the facts, bro. He said DP said if CU lose, we gonna clip this chub. Yeah, and you gotta clip the part where I start barking too, cause you gotta get that. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna, you know what I mean? I could live with it. But if they lose, I'm definitely going in. I'm definitely coming on here and I'm going in, bro. I'm going in. And I'm tagging a DMVR. And I'm tagging DMVR, Jake Autumn. I'm going in on everybody, bro. I'm going in. Because that's what they telling us, bro. All right. They like y'all gotta remember that's what they feeding us. And I don't know that. He said, nah, y'all should beat them, but they were 11-3 last year and blowed a lot of people out. Yeah. Yeah, they did, studio. They was good, bro. They was good, studio. They definitely was good for an FCS team. Um, we're gonna see what we look like on Thursday, man, on the 29th. We're gonna see what we looking like. And South Dakota State, they were undefeated. Yeah, South Dakota State, I'd be worried. If we was playing South Dakota State, I'd be more worried than North Dakota State right now. I'm being honest. Because my pro team, the Pittsburgh Steelers, we grabbed up an offensive line from South Dakota State. So South Dakota State is for real, for real, for real. They or it seemed like it shift. Everybody who, but North Dakota State used to be South Dakota State taking that over now. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, but that's what I'm thinking. So yeah, South Dakota State, I'll be a little bit more worried. I ain't gonna lie, because they haven't established you know. He said, Shad, you wild, Shad. What you do, Shad? Shad, what you do? I don't know. He said you wild. DP said, Shad, you wild. Man, I ain't finna play with me up on here about my CU, bro. Y'all gonna leave me alone about my CU now, bro. Y'all already know, bro. I've changed, bro. I argued all the way. Anyway, let's talk about your team for a minute. I'm finna do you the same way you just did me, man. So get ready. All you Hurricanes fans, the same way y'all just did me about CU, I'm finna do it to y'all right now. Because they saying the same thing about Miami. Same thing about Mario Cristobal. That Cam Ward being down there in Miami, Miami is supposed to run the table. Period, point blank. But the ACC looking like the ACC about to start beating up on each other, right? The supposedly top dog of the ACC just got taken out. Did they not?
Yeah.
All
Got
right.
took out.
Okay. I'm just looking at it.
I
You
mean,
know what I'm
you're
saying, for
right.
what it is.
You're right.
So you feel me? Do we know Cam Ward is for sure gonna come down there and do his thing? He hasn't been on a winning program, even though he throws for 3,500 yards. The same thing, he beat Shador last year. I ain't gonna front and say he didn't beat her.
Hey, man. We'll see, man.
Let's talk about it. No, let's talk about it. It's up on the screen.
Where you want to start it?
We want to start with the U. And do y'all think the U is going to go in and just whoop on the Gators? Do y'all think they're going to cover the Gators? All right, so let me tell you
What's the
what the
spread?
I'm
What's
about
the
to tell you the
spread?
spread right now. Huh?
Ain't
I
it
got to
like
go
three and a
back.
half or something? 5?
I don't know. I'm about to see, bro. I'm looking now, brother. I'm looking now, bro. This is a good show, Shad. By the way, I just wanted to tell you that man's show cause you my brother. You my brother. Now you're my brother. You're my brother. You my brother. You know what I mean? You all that, bro. And I want to thank you, bro, for putting up with me, bro, because you know me, bro. You know how I get, bro. So Not a lot of people. Y'all got to give it up for Shad, bro. Let's give it up for Shad one time, bro, because he put up with trucking, bro. Not a lot of people can actually sit on the show with Trucking Chubby and do this with trucking, bro, on a week to week basis. He puts up with me, bro. Like he's the real MVP, bro. Like I say some outlandish shit, and I got some questions, and you be like, you could tell like this motherfucker only been watching college football for about a year now. I know he do a little bit of research because he sound like it gives you could tell, but damn, like you know what I'm saying. But he puts up with that. He's the real MVP, y'all. So give Shad a hand at home. Please do that. Get in the chat, put some clapping hands for him, man, because he putting up with my ass. But yeah, they y'all 2.5 point favorite over Florida.
I mean, so I think I'm not a gambling person, but obviously we're going to their place. So if this game was in Miami, then I think that probably would make us probably might well say a touchdown favorite, right? So um looking at the talent composition of the team, which I don't know how they're doing this. According to Blue Chip Ratio, the Florida Gators are more talented than we are, even though we picked
Mm-hmm.
up some key transfers. But obviously, all this stuff is predicated on high school. So obviously, Cam Ward was a no star prospect coming out of Texas. Um, this game is interesting, you
Yeah,
know,
very.
in many particular aspects because I think you do have to take into consideration. We do have a quarterback. He was here for the spring. It seems he's getting a lot of autonomy. One of the things that we didn't talk about is the aspect of now they have the helmet, like in NFL now, where the offensive coordinator can communicate with the quarterback now. So I mean, it's going to be interesting to kind of see how that goes. Like I said, one of the biggest issues with Cam Ward that people had was the biosecurity, questions, um, the aspect of playing hero ball, stuff like that. So, like I said last week, man, the two concerns or the two things about this particular team that I want to keep an eye on are with the offensive line, if there will there be a drop off from last year, and how
Mm-hmm.
well the secondary is going to perform. So those are my two things. I do feel like that Florida has gotten some decent receivers that can kind of help Graham Mertz out. So our DBs are gonna have to, they're gonna have to be ready. Florida has a solid, defensive line. I don't think it's as good as advertised. I don't think it's as good as what we have. So I mean, to me, it's just gonna be about what game plan we try to um, bring forth. I do think we're gonna
Mm.
try to early, take the run game away from them. I do think that's going to be the point of emphasis. I was listening to another Miami fan yesterday. He was just talking about just some of the size of some of the offensive lines that we're going to have to play and how our defensive line is not as big. Most notably in the middle as you would want them to be, but maybe they can over compensate for that via their quickness. So, like I said, we have some guys that got here after the spring window. That's gonna have to get, that's gonna be dependent upon to, make some plays. So, again,
What's your defensive coordinator's name?
Lance Gidry.
Lance Gidry. Do you think that Lance Gidry is going to make he going to call the correct defense a good game against Florida? I mean, because
Well, see,
obviously they quarterback coming back. What's his name again? The damn quarterback down there in Florida. Help me out,
Graham
bro.
Mertz. Graham
Graham Mertz,
Mertz.
right? He's like a vet, right?
Yeah.
Graham Mertz. They got some interchangeable running backs down there, but I think y'all running back coach Matt. I can't pronounce. I'm bad with names. Matt Merrick. I don't know if that's his name or whatever, but Damien, y'all should beat Florida. I give it to y'all, bro. I just wanted to try to give you some hell. I wasn't gonna do. I was gonna troll, but I'm like, I'm not about to troll my dog. Like, cause I got Miami winning the ACC. I might be. I gotta be clear about that. I do got y'all winning the ACC. I do. Um, I don't see nobody. I don't. I just don't see nobody. But I do think I will say this. Now, y'all might not. Y'all may disagree with me because y'all are Miami fans, and y'all could say what y'all want to say. But I feel like this game right here is the jump off the Miami season. What y'all beat the Gators by is the jump off to y'all season. Period. I think it's a barometer for y'all. Let me explain that a little bit more. Like let me explain that for y'all. This is how I feel, right? This is my opinion on what the outlook of Miami season may be. I do got y'all winning the ACC, but look, so if y'all go in there and beat the Gators by 10, I still think y'all could go 11-1. You know what I'm saying? But I think there's going to be some challenges. Y'all going to face more adversity. If y'all go out there and just put the beats on Florida, I don't see nobody fucking with y'all. I don't see no messing with y'all. Period. Period. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I mean by my barometer for the Miami Hurricane season, like that. That's what I think. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just don't see nobody messing with y'all for real. It depends on how y'all go out there and stomp them to me. But what you think? He said, Shad, we got a mute button. We finna quiet all this ish up in the swamp. I saying my main concern with the Canes this year is the lack of discipline. We had over 700 penalties in yards last year. Mm. I mean, I don't, I didn't look at it that way, but penalties matter. That matters a lot, DP, a lot.
Yeah.
Talking penalties and yards, bro, that matters a lot in these games. Discipline does. I agree. I agree with that, DP. That matters a whole lot. But I think that's what I meant by the barometer of this season with the Miami Hurricanes and this Florida Gators game, bro. What you looking at up there, Shad?
What you mean?
When you go up, that's where the TV at, right?
No, no. Usually when I do that, I'm just thinking about what you're saying,
Oh,
you
okay,
know,
okay,
more
all
so,
right.
yeah, because I don't just stare, you know what I mean? So I look at it and see like, okay, yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, yeah,
I mean, that's just what I feel like. That's not really fact based. That's just more of opinion based on you know what I mean, what I feel. That's all. That's It's not really a fact based, statement, behind that. But that's what I feel like. I mean, because you gotta give it up. Florida, Billy Napier, they got a tough schedule, bro. They have the hardest schedule in college football. The hardest schedule in college
yeah,
football. The Florida Gators do.
yeah. But that's the thing about preseason stuff. Preseason says they have the toughest schedule because you're looking at some names.
You're right.
But until that season is actually fully played,
Yeah.
that postseason, after looking at it, it might not be the toughest schedule, you know?
Right. Yeah.
So I mean, again, like I said, it's gonna be interesting. It's a rivalry game. You know, the last time we played Florida, I felt like both teams, for the most part, were evenly matched in many aspects, and it really just came down to us not executing in some critical places.
Mhm.
But again, that's a part of football. Most teams do not play a perfect game, and unfortunately, there may be a handful of plays that get further scrutinized and maybe, oh well, hey, do you know that if that guard would have made that block on that kick out, instead of there being a 2 yard run, there could have been a block to get him 20 some odd yards, and that could have
Right.
been a touchdown, you know. So like I said, it's a lot of plays, you know what I mean? Our coaching staff, from what we have should be better. You know, you asked me about Lance Gidry and what I think Lance Gidry is going to do. The thing to
Hmm.
me about this is that, and this is on both sides, where you have time as a coaching staff, especially now with the advent of them having essentially unlimited assistants right now. It's really going to come again. It's back to being a coaching part of it. You know, you spoke about
Hmm.
earlier about college coaching being underrated, and
Yeah. I believe
a,
that.
a lot of people a lot of people feel like coaching is overrated. They feel like that you just amass gobs of talent on the team and just sit them out there on the field and you
I
know
don't believe that.
hoist up the trophies. But right now, with this transfer portal and what we have going on now, um, coaching is of the utmost importance. So we're going to actually get to see which particular team and staff are going to be able to look at film, pick up tendencies, and figure out what exactly is the correct way to attack what it is that they're doing. Obviously,
Mm-hmm.
Florida lost a big piece of their offense in Trevor Etienne this past, going to the University of Georgia. It's going to be interesting to see how they, compensate for that. You know what I mean? So, again, I mean, it's going to be an interesting game, you
Man,
know?
look, with Shannon, like with your OC, right? He's also the quarterbacks coach, correct? I've been doing my homework a little bit, brother.
Yeah.
A little bit,
He's,
brother.
he's a
He's
QB
also a
coach.
QB coach too, right?
Yeah.
Right. So I think that he's gonna play right into Cam Ward's strength. And having a monster like Damian Martinez and man, just a hell of a playmaker. I have to say that. And Xavier Restrepo, man, he is just he may be the Nate, like, I don't know, preseason wise. I want to see him on the field, but look, I mean, I just see so much film on Restrepo, man, and I really like the cat, man. He is just a playmaker. Do you hear me? Raw High, what up, Raw? What up, Raw? Raw High joining us and all that. Say what's up. Um, and like he just makes plays, bro, like none other in the country, bro. He does. And I think him and Cam Ward should have a hell of a time hooking up pause with the passing game. And Damian Martinez should be opening up. And I don't think nobody should be able to play on the field with y'all. If anything, I think that Miami should definitely be scoring over. Y'all should be averaging 35 points a game, right? Because I mean, you gotta, in order to be at 11-1 team, let's just call it what it is. You would say that they have to 35, and you saying playing the strengths QB. I mean, look, this is based off of my opinion because we really don't know what y'all strengths are this season. Let's just call it what it is, right?
Yeah,
Let's
we
just
don't.
be honest. We don't know what
Yeah.
y'all strengths are this
Yeah.
season.
Yeah, we don't. Yeah.
So when I'm speaking on that, that's just my opinion of what I'm thinking it is, right? What your strengths
Yeah.
are. It's just my
Yeah.
thoughts, me speculating on what your strengths might be this season. Let me clarify that because I'm still learning. You gotta use words out here, right? So Damian
Yeah.
Martinez was one of the best rushers in the Pac-12 last year, carrying the rock for Oregon State, coming down to Miami behind Miami and y'all offensive line. Y'all patch some pieces there. I like Carpenter, Zach Carpenter coming from Indiana. I thought Zach Carpenter was one of the better offensive linemen on that Indiana Hoosier team. Y'all wound up grabbing that guy up. I think that he's going to be a well fit there down in Miami. I think he's going to fit in well, but we'll see. We really don't know, right? So yes, there is a question mark there, but Xavier Restrepo, Cam Ward. I mean, it's right there. You know what I mean? So that's what I mean by that. Because I really don't know about, you know what I'm saying, what's going to happen in that. So I had to explain that a little bit. You feel me? But man, so y'all got to score 35 or more points a game to be one of the top dogs.
Yeah. I agree with you on that. 35 or more.
He said, Will Restrepo lead block for Martinez? Shad knows the joke.
Of
Well, I
course
should
he
know the
will.
joke too. If you're gonna come on the fans' point of view, you can't come on the fans' point of view, just throw out shit and we don't know the shit. No,
Of
but
course.
what's the joke though, Chad? Fill me in, bro.
Xavier Strepo is a lead blocker in our offense when he goes in motion.
Yeah,
That's one of the staples of our offense.
yeah, yeah.
So
He's a hell of a playmaker, hell of a receiver, man. I've looked at him in depth, bro. In depth, all his traits, everything. Like, there's not nothing that's not keeping him from the top receivers in the country conversation. Nothing that I've seen anyway, as far as I looked at it now. And and as far as and I ain't just going, that's not opinion. This is like, it's more like facts because you got to look at the receiver traits. Like, what traits does a receiver have? Looking at every single trait, I think Restrepo checks the boxes and on run blocking, and which a lot of other guys don't do well. And I think he does well. So yeah, man. Miami, I think Miami should beat the Florida Gators, man. I think it'll be a good game, but I do think Miami should pull this off if they want to continue. But if they don't, well, oh well, still got a chance. It's not a conference game, so still
exactly,
still
it's
can
not
run
a
the table.
conference game. Everything that we seek to want to accomplish during the season is still on the table.
Mm-hmm. Right. Right. Clemson and Georgia Bulldogs, man. Clemson and the Georgia
Ooh.
Bulldogs. Kirby, Dabo versus Kirby, Kirby versus Dabo. Man, man, the implications for this game right now, and from what we seeing, does Clemson stand a chance to beat the Georgia Bulldogs? Are we saying this? Are we really saying this and thinking? I mean, oh man, I think I will say this right. This is still speculating because we haven't really seen offense, but I will say this: this game means so much for the ACC. It's not even crazy, bro. It's not even crazy. I will say that. And what do I mean by that? The ACC, if Clemson does not win this game, let's say Clemson does not win this game, but they lose it by 3 at field goal. I think it still says a lot for the ACC and what they're going to bring because Clemson is supposed to be one of the top teams in the ACC. And right now, they're above Florida State because Florida State just took an L to Georgia Tech. Let's call it what it is, right? But also getting out there and making this step. If they could pull this win out, the ACC now is on notice. They're like, okay, they balling out there. They know what they're doing out there. Week 1, week 0. I don't really care too much about all that. And how that may go and how much people may think. But look, I'm still a college football newborn out here. So who cares a fuck what I'm talking about? Really, right? You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day. But still, like, that's just what I believe. Okay. All right. All right. So we're gonna ride with that. But what do you think, bro, about this Clemson and Georgia game? Right.
Man, last time these two played, the game was decided by a pick six threw by DJU. A very low scoring game. I think the final score may have been like 9-6 or something like that. Like some crazy. Like it was a very low scoring affair. Um, Clemson has they've made some adjustments. They brought in Matt Luke, which is one of the premier offensive line coaches in the country. Um, Defense is still good. Still have some good pieces on the defense.
Mm-hmm.
Their biggest thing that they're gonna have to, get situated is their quarterback situation, right? And the thing about it is that Carson Beck, while he's garnering a lot of, adulation, a lot of praise and things like that, the thing about a 1 year starter, that year that they do start, what you
Mm-hmm.
have the ability to do as a staff that's in opposition is you get to see, okay, this is what he was able to get away with. These are some of the tendencies that he has, whether they're good tendencies or bad tendencies, and you can adjust to them accordingly. So it's going to be about Carson Beck taking that next particular step, or is he going to revert back to being a Jake Fromm, which is a guy that's not necessarily going to win you a game, but they're not going to necessarily lose you a game.
Uh-huh.
And with such high stakes going on right now, I do think that both teams have to be in a situation where their quarterback is going to have to be the one that makes two, maybe three plays that put them in position to actually pull this game out. So, like I said, we've talked about Georgia before. They have some question marks um,
We're
in
at
terms of just some inexperience.
Georgia. We're
Um,
at what position you talking about?
well,
Because
well,
I thought they
at the
brought back
at the
most of their team.
well at the linebacker position, we're just talking
Okay.
about inexperience, not
Okay.
necessarily talent.
Okay.
Some inexperience along the defensive line. I mean the linebacker position, having to replace a Brock Bowers, which was a lot of their which he didn't play the entire season last year. He underwent an injury. So it's going to be interesting. They just kick Ra Thomas off the team. So
Mm-hmm.
and Georgia, and this is another thing for Georgia. Georgia has a lot of outside noise going on, right? You got the Trevor Etienne situation, you got the Ra Thomas situation.
Mm.
You have I think it's the Atlanta Gazette or Atlanta Post Journal, whichever
Mm.
one of the major newspapers in Atlanta that is just publicizing these particular stories. The whole Georgia players not graduating. So there's a lot of outside noise that Kirby Smart is going to have to navigate through. And I've said this. I said this on another show. I said this year is going to show me whether or not Kirby Smart is Urban Meyer or
Mm-hmm.
if he's Nick Saban. And what I mean by that is when the pressure got to its highest, Urban Meyer crumbled. Nick Saban evolved and continued to dominate. So I think this is going to be that type of year because when all the off the field stuff was coming in about what was going on with Urban at Florida and all that stuff like that, we saw a team that was looked at to be a dynasty, a team that was supposed to be the greatest. Obviously, the parallels are both of those teams won two national titles, recruiting at an exceptional level. But then when all of the when the leaks started to show and everything started to come out, we ended up. Now I'm not saying Kirby Smart, pull the Urban Meyer and say, "Hey, look, I'm having, health concerns. I got to step away." But I think this is going to be the year that Kirby Smart shows exactly who he is, because the noise the past couple of years has not been what it is as of late.
Right.
Starting kind of with the Jalen Carter situation, and then compounding it even more with the ETN situation, the Ra Tillman situation.
So the
Um,
outside noise is pretty like you think that's going to be effective.
but like I said, that's what's going to be the
Mm-hmm.
differentiating factor.
Right. Okay. I
Yeah.
get it. I get that. I mean, I understand where you coming from with that, bro.
And then Clemson's essentially, Clemson doesn't have anything to lose because, like you say, you started um, this topic off with, do they really have a chance?
Yeah.
And most people probably feel like what we
Clemson
saw from
has.
Clemson last year is probably going to be much the same this particular year. So most people probably feel like Georgia is going to just step in and take care of business. The game is in Atlanta, so it's essentially
Mm-hmm.
a home game for the Georgia Bulldogs. They don't have to travel that far. But again, and like I say, and as far as Dabo Swinney, Dabo needs this win. You know, to kind of
Mm-hmm.
speak about Clemson, not so much about Georgia, but they need this type of win, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because
I agree.
again, we're talking about a Dabo Swinney that was the head coach of a Clemson program that was able to beat Alabama at their highest of high. And for them to kind of fall off the cliff, so to speak, like they have over the last couple of years, not necessarily being in the title hunt since Trevor Lawrence left, you know, this is going to be a good gauge of whether or not, Clemson is back. Because again, they pull this off, then, you know, the
Mm-hmm.
conversation is now Clemson is the team to beat in the ACC. You know what I mean? So, but
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
again, like we said about all these games, they should be a good game.
Yeah, it
You know,
should be.
yeah.
Well, they got they're 13.5 point favorites. Georgia is over Clemson. Now it's hard to say, but I mean, look, to be honest, I would be leaning for them to cover that 13.5 because that means Georgia got to beat them by 2 touchdowns. I like what Dabo Sweeney had there and didn't go after a lot of guys in the transfer portal, kept his team together. Some people looking at that and saying maybe he should have went to plug and play some guys, losing the safety, but I think their safeties would just be fine. Diving deep into this team and looking at some of the other coaches because I don't believe that coaching is overrated in college football. I just don't believe that. I don't because I just don't. I'm not going to believe that, especially in this new transfer portal era. It's going to matter a lot more because of the guys moving around so much and being able to coach a guy up and teach him what he needs to know for that particular scheme, offensively or defensively, it's going to matter. So now these coaches are going to start getting a lot more praise, just as NFL coaches do, even if they weren't. You know what I mean? I still think coaching matters. Period. Wherever you go, it matters, bro. It just does. Um, all right, but CJ Spiller being out there at Clemson with the running backs, I think that helps for me. I think that helps them with their running game. What's the guy's name? Luke for the offensive line. Trying to remember a lot of the names over there at Clemson. Help me
Matt
out
Luke.
there.
Matt
Um,
Luke.
Matt Luke, okay. Offensive, that's offensive line guy. There's an offensive coordinator over there too. Some the Garrett Riley guy, right? Quarterback coach and everything with Clay Kubnik. I think that's their question mark right there, right? So what do you do when you got a little bit with that game? So they gotta I know it's easily said, right? But the game plan in college football is easy now. Excuse me, y'all. Establish a line of scrimmage, run the ball well. Um, make smart decisions with the ball, Kate. I think they got some receivers over there that are slept on. That's the keys for a Clemson win, right? To make smart decisions, establish a line of scrimmage, run the ball well, right? To me, right? Now, going over to Georgia, they got their squad. And if we looking at this team from a whole, what Michigan, and I'll say this again, what Michigan did last year, bringing back all those players for a national title, that is exactly what Georgia did, Marion. Georgia did this year. So, according to that, these guys should play, it should be able to face all adversity with everything in the news that's going on, everything that you talked about. They should be able to handle that well. They should be able to go down in a football game, show resilience, and still come back and play well under that without any distractions. Stay focused on the goal and the task at hand because the Georgia Bulldogs and Kirby Smart and they staff over there, those guys, those players on that Georgia Bulldog team under Kirby Smart has only come back to hoist the national championship trophy in their hands. All those guys did not come back and all that production Georgia did that. They didn't come back to go into the playoffs, win a couple games. No, they came back to win it all. And I just think Georgia being a heavy favorite, I think Georgia pulls it off. But I'm gonna be honest. I think Georgia wins the game, but I don't think that they cover the spread, y'all. I don't think that they cover 13 and a half points. I'm gonna just keep it a buck. I'm gonna just say it just flat out, just like that. Stop with all the fancy shit, beat around the bush. I done told y'all everything that I said about the game. Georgia wins the game, but they do not beat out it's not going to be, I don't think it's going to be by 2 touchdowns. Touchdown at best against Clemson and Dabo. If that comes down to that, maybe even come down to a field goal. Cuz I think these two style makes fights, right? You know what I'm saying? One of those. You got me?
Oh yeah.
Style make fights and you know what I'm saying? Match up well like that type deal. I think that's what it's going to be, bro. You know. I think that's what it is.
I'm
All
uh
right.
I'm gonna take Clemson.
You got Clemson.
I'm gonna take
Oh,
Clemson.
overall win. Okay.
Yeah, I'm
All
gonna
right.
take
Cool.
Clemson.
I mean, I got Georgia, but like I said, I got Georgia, but like I said, if you going on them lines, I gotta take Clemson to cover. They'll cover, but Georgia will win overall. Yeah, man. Chris Kane for life. What up? What up, man? He said, "What's up, Shad? What's up, trucking?"
What up, Chris Kane?
Uh, All right, so that's what we got right there, man. We about almost done, bro. You look like you about tired, bro. Look like you about tired out there, bro. You good? You good, Shad?
No, just a little weather. No, I'm good.
All right. Yeah, I feel that, man. I see that. I hear it in your
Oh
voice too.
man, Penn State, West Virginia.
Yes.
Man,
Yes.
I don't even know how you look at this game. I mean, in terms of where do you go with it? Do you go with the defense or do you go with the offense? In West Virginia, Penn State brings the defense. West Virginia's bringing the offense. Um,
But
I
that's the
mean,
thing though, is West
I mean,
Virginia's defense what?
I don't know. I mean, because this is to me, this is a very, very intriguing matchup.
There we go.
Very intriguing.
There
And I
we
gotta
go.
give you a shout out too, because your Big 12 coverage has made me more aware of kind of what's going on in the Big 12. I went back the other day. I looked at some of Garrett Green's um, playmaking. I was
You was
I
impressed?
was surprised. I was impressed. I was
Right.
impressed about what he's doing. Again, this will be another year under the belt. We regardless of what defense you play or how well your defense plays, you can never fully stop a quarterback that has the ability to make plays with their feet, right?
Period. He's one of
Um,
the best in the country at that. I must say that. I must say that, bro. And
yeah,
I think people
so
underrate him.
yeah, so it's gonna be an interesting game. Penn State needs this victory. Um, because right now with a new look Big Ten, wins are going to be very, very important. West Virginia is a team that I think, some pundits are looking at to win or the favorite to win the Big 12 this particular year. So, if they're able to get a victory like that on their belt
Hmm.
and West Virginia goes out and does what, some pundits feel like they do, then that strengthens their case if Penn State actually does go out here and have a good season. But like I said, man, this matchup is just so um, you know what I'm saying, intriguing. You know what I mean? What is Drew Aller gonna do in his third year as a starter? They have a nice duo of running backs that people have spoken about highly. Are they finally gonna get on track? You spoke about Julian Fleming going over there. Is Julian Fleming going to, live up to his billing that he had when he was coming out of high school? Can Drew Aller put him in position to make those type of plays? All in all, I think most people would say the thing that has kind of hurt Penn State overall is the fact that the last couple of years their offense has not been able to match the intensity and the level of execution that their defense has. And I think most people will say, hey, that's been the issue. So will this be the year that Penn State plays like a complete team? Or is it
Mm.
going to be a team where one side of the ball ends up dominating the day? Because, kind of going back to last year, most people talk about that Michigan game where Michigan in the entire second half, said, hey, look, we're not going to put the ball in the hands of, J.J. McCarthy, we're going to run the ball.
Hmm.
Now, you think about a situation like that, if Michigan was playing a team, a Penn State team where Drew Aller was a C.J. Stroud or something like that,
Hmm.
that type of that type of game plan goes out of the window because you'll be talking about a guy that will put so much pressure on the defense from a passing ability. So that's more so what I'm kind of looking at. Again, on paper, the talent, Penn State probably is a much better team than West Virginia. But again, we always have to go back to the portal. I always got to go back to the portal. We always have to go back to kind of what's going on right now. And West Virginia is a formidable opponent. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but I go ahead and make my selection. I'm probably gonna ride. Yeah, I'm going to go with Penn State on just on the mindset that I feel like that perhaps Drew Aller finally at least looks somewhat of a semblance of what people lauded him as when he was coming out of high school.
Oh, I must say, this game goes back. This game has a history. There's a history with this matchup, y'all. I be doing my homework because y'all know I'm a college football number, but I be doing it. I'm telling y'all, I be researching. This game goes back all the way to the 1980s, y'all. They have played each other throughout the years, throughout the seasons. They played last year, September the 2nd. They played last year. Penn State won that game, 15-38. They played in 1992, 1991, 1990. This is a rivalry game. You can say that, right? They get it in. Pitt, West Virginia. You know what I'm saying? I know that's a rivalry game, but I mean this is a brawl. You feel me? This is Penn State versus West Virginia. They real close. We real close, right down the road from each other, right? Drew Aller last year in this game, y'all threw for 300 yards, 3 touchdowns, for over 300 yards and 3 touchdowns. He was 21 for 29 in this game, right? Nick Singleton, he carried the ball well for over. He had 70 yards. Katron Allen had 50 yards in this game last season. Um, Now the thing is, right, is the defense. The defense of are these guys there, right? Are these guys gonna be there? That Penn State defense, you know what I'm saying? Is Kobe King gonna show up like he did? Curtis Jacobs, I don't think he's there. Uh Jalen Reed, these guys, or these guys gonna show up for them because West Virginia, y'all, Garrett Green, like how you said about Garrett Green, he was only he was six for 27 last year in this game, in this particular game, because they did play each other last year. So this is a rematch. But they were able to run the ball on Penn State. Let's not get that twisted. Let's not forget that. They were bad. Penn State wound up pulling off on them. They did. They passed the ball on them. So West Virginia's weakness. They couldn't get to the quarterback. They couldn't get the Drew Aller. They couldn't get enough pressure on him last year. The cornerbacks let up some yards. They probably shouldn't have let up because he, like I said, Drew Aller threw all over them boys last year. He had a hell of a game because they were able to run the ball well against West Virginia too. But like you said, West Virginia was able to do that. C.J. Donaldson's coming back. He was killing Penn State. He had 18 carries, 81 yards, and he had a touchdown. Garrett Gray had 15 carries, 71 yards, and a touchdown. And he's coming back this year, the same thing. This is going to be a very good matchup. I must say that to you, bro. Like, I gotta admit, this is another one of them good matchups, and that's why I threw it on the board, right? Um, this pick to me, y'all, this is gonna be, and shout out to Raw, man, because this game right here is definitely going to be huge for the Big 12. Huge for the Big 12. And they're giving West Virginia 8.5, right? Penn State, I got Penn State being one of the better teams in the Big Ten. I'm going to roll with Penn State in this game. And I think that they cover the 8.5, but I don't want to. I just don't. We just don't sleep on the West Virginia, man, and what may happen, man, because this game could swing the other way fast and easy, man. Because I mean, Garrett Green another year on his belt. What Penn State know what they did. Abdul Carter, I think, should be able to help out on that defensive line and neutralize what's going on, man. But you just never know with this because they got their running backs coming back. They got their quarterbacks coming back. Um, West Virginia's defensive backs and that defensive line have to get to Drew Aller and get him off rhythm in order to pull this game off. But I gotta go with Penn State, man. I gotta go with Penn State. I gotta go with Penn State, bro. He said trucking. Thoughts on my last two comments. I didn't see him at the Mazzano. Let me read them. I think last year's Michigan team is going to be an anomaly. I don't think another team is going to visit just win a national championship just based off their running game. You're just going to win that. I don't know. I don't think another team is going to just win the national championship based on they were able to do that with defense and running the ball though. They're gonna have to they're gonna have to be great at both the passing game and running game, not one dimensional. Who's that? Who are we talking about? Penn State knew, yeah, like I get that. I get that. Like I get that studio. They do coaching staff. I think there was like they had some good hires, but I think things is going well for Penn State with those new hires too, though. Because I'm up this way, and you hearing things like these players have bought into them younger. There's some younger guys on the staff that just went into coaching younger. I can't get the coach's name. I could pull them up, but I know exactly what you're talking about. But I think James Franklin, Franklin got the right guys in the right place at Penn State, bro. I think so. And that's why I have Penn State as being one of the better Big Ten teams. Like dark horse word. I know a lot of people like to throw that around and use that in terms, but Penn State absolutely can. I think they could play with the best in the Big Ten, bro. I really do. I really do. And I think this game will show that. I think last year's Penn State team, I think Drew Aller's a lot better than what people give him. I like Drew Aller. I like the quarterback. I like Penn State. Um, and maybe my bias a little bit in this game with them, but I'm not sleeping on West Virginia and what they can do, bro. I'm not. I'm just not, yo. I'm just not. I'm not going to sleep on what West Virginia can do. I'm not. They are good. West Virginia's good. They run the ball well. They only lost a center, right? Their center. They lost their center to the Pittsburgh Steelers. That was it. But I think they bring back some good guys. I like that game.
To kind of comment on what Anthony brought up, and I've said this before. These games are going to be based on matchups. You know, um, to decide who's going to win a championship. I kind of go back to the game played early last year when Texas played Alabama. Texas wasn't just supremely successful, running the ball against an Alabama, but they were able to pass the ball efficiently. So they seemingly, in many aspects, kind of won that game from a one-dimensional standpoint. Same thing kind of goes for when you play Washington. Washington was not a team that was just from a defensive standpoint very just stout against the run. And their offensive line, even though they ended up winning the award for the best offensive line,
Hmm.
and when they played Michigan, it looked like Swiss cheese. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So again, a lot of stuff is about it really comes down to matchups at the end of the day. And that's why I think when you got a 12, see, and this is why I like the 12 team, but then this is why I don't like the 12 team, because you could have a scenario where you have two teams that you feel like from a overall standpoint could possibly be the best teams,
Hmm.
but they run up on a team that maybe some familiarity plays a role in that, and they lose that game because the old saying goes, it's hard to beat a team twice, right?
Hmm.
So you could have a scenario. Let's just say hypothetically speaking, Oregon and Ohio State play. I think they play week 3 or maybe week 4. All right, so let's say Oregon pulls that out, right? So then let's turn around and say, all right, they play again for the Big Ten championship, right? Let's say Ohio State wins that particular game, but
All right.
obviously Oregon makes it in the playoffs. So now you got two teams that have played twice already. So now you have a tiebreaker. So they just say Oregon pulls it out. Obviously, I'm being a little biased, but let's just say people say, but Ohio State looked like the more complete team, but they just lost to a team that was a lot more familiar with them, right? So you're not really getting a true gauge of what it is. And then Oregon could turn right around and lose to a team
That's,
that has an advantage over them based on a perceived weakness, or not a perceived, but an actual weakness that
yeah.
Oregon has that Ohio State couldn't necessarily take advantage of. So that's kind of my whole thing about it. Um, I feel like a team that predominantly throws the ball has an opportunity to win a national title. I think a team that predominantly runs the ball has a chance to win a national title. And I feel the
Absolutely.
same way about a team that has an excellent defense. They have an opportunity, and a team with a kind of a so-so
If
defense has an
your
opportunity.
if your trenches is anything like what Michigan had last year, bruh, like you can run the ball all goddamn day long. We just seen. I mean, like, dog, we literally seen the game yesterday, y'all. We just seen that. We've been waiting so long for this football season, but we actually seen this yesterday, y'all. We actually seen a unranked team take down a number 10 team. And that should be talked about like that. We talked about that. We seen that. They established the line of scrimmage. They fuck their hogs, pushed that line around. They ran the ball well. That's what Georgia Tech does. Georgia Tech, if can't nobody penetrate that offensive line for Georgia Tech and they stay healthy, Georgia Tech gonna be dangerous as shit in the ACC. Would you agree with that shit?
I already know they're gonna be dangerous. Yeah,
Huh?
I already know they're dangerous.
Right.
They,
That's what I'm saying.
yeah,
Like, so
yeah.
yes, a team with that, I think that can be done again, bro. Because that's what the game is going away from. People sleep on the run, like running, like okay, quarterbacks win the game. I don't think somebody's gonna get. I don't. Me personally, I don't think that this is just. Then this is my opinion, right? This is what I believe about football, because the way I look at football, right? You could pass the ball all day, right? But you could put somebody in the spread and you could pass the ball all day. But what they call that? What was the offense they call in the damn air raid? That's what they call it, air raid offense. I don't think an air raid offense can win the national championship nowadays. I don't know if that'll work. I don't know.
Well,
Would it be?
see,
I
see
don't
that's
know.
what see that's where the interesting thing comes in at about
I don't think so.
what is an air raid offense. And I had this discussion about 2 years ago with some people, and I said, unfortunately, people want to look at. I'm not saying this about you, but I'm saying there's people when you hear the word air raid, they always want
Hmm.
to talk about its initial inception, right?
Okay.
Texas Tech runs an air raid, but Taj Brooks is one of the best running backs, or considered to be one of the best running backs in the entire country. Rushed for over 1,000 yards in an air raid offense. The problem is individuals. Again, like I said, not pointing this at you. Like you said, you're just not getting into college football. So let me say this: you have to look at an offense and how an offense has evolved. The air raid offense has evolved from its initial inception when it was first brought forth to the collegiate football.
But bro,
Because what it was doing, it was trying to overcompensate for something. It was trying to overcompensate for the fact that we don't have the guys up front that can
okay.
establish the line of scrimmage. A variation of that ended up being, or just another thing that was in there, in which Chip Kelly, was able to do and take it to the highest of highs at Oregon when they ran a hurry up offense. Because those offensive lines were not dominant by a large stretch. But the aspect of it is that, hey, well, if I can get lined up quickly enough, our undersized linemen, we can lay on you because you're a little fatigued, right? And we got some great backs that have great vision. So I think when someone says that Air Raid can't win a national title, I always go back to LSU because that's all that was. Like people give Clyde Edwards-Helaire flowers for the contribution that he had, but most people are only talking about three assets in that entire offense. They're
Okay.
gonna talk about Joe Burrow, they're gonna talk about Jamar Chase, and they're gonna talk about Justin Jefferson. No one's gonna talk about Clyde Edwards-Helaire rushing for what did he end up rushing for? Maybe 1,200 some odd yards. Again, Taj Brooks just ran for that.
That helps. That helps. That helps though. That also
Yeah,
means that they established the running game throughout the season, right? If he
but
got
what
over
I
200 yards.
but the thing about it,
Hmm.
but this is the thing about the run game too, right? Is how the run game has gotten watered down. You can average 60 yards a game over a 12 game what's 12 times 6?
So do you need so okay, so let me ask you this question, right? So do you need to run the ball to have a good air raid offense? Or do you need to pass the ball to have a great run offense? Like, I don't think so. I don't think you have to. If you could run the ball well, you could run the ball all fucking game long. Come on, bring me another back. If your hogs is pushing, come on, bring me another back. You don't need to pass the ball, right?
But the thing about that, and the same thing, and again, I wanna talk about this point from both sides, right? Because I don't wanna seem like
Yeah,
I'm biased
right.
to one side.
Got
The aspect of running the ball is okay. What happens when the opposition's offense puts pressure on you,
you. Hmm.
and they start passing the ball? Then you're out of your element. Same thing goes for a team that wants to pass the ball. Okay,
Hmm.
you've had a couple of three and outs, and the other team is now running the ball, and now your defense is tired. So you have to switch up game plans. So again, that's why I say all this stuff kind of goes back to matchups. And again, while I said, and I'll stand on this, I don't feel like the 12 team playoff is going to solidify who's the actual best team in the country.
Okay.
I do think it's going to present some interesting games. It's going to present some interesting matchups because again, one of the things that we know, you're a much bigger NFL fan than I am, but
Right.
you do know that familiarity with an opponent does play a role in the outcome of games because your team is in the AFC North. You know that y'all are going to get two games against the Ravens. Whereas when you have a cross conference game, let's say y'all play the NFC North, all right, y'all now have to kind of scramble a little bit to figure out, okay, what are we going to do to kind of attack them offensively and what we're going to try to do to attack them defensively. Going back to like when Michigan played TCU in the title game, right?
Yeah.
Now we can bring up the whole Connor Stallion situation, the impact or lack of impact that he had. One of the things that individuals talked about was the fact that Michigan was not ready for the type of offense that TCU had. They had a plethora of receivers that were fast as crap, a quarterback that could move, and they pulled off the upset. Right now,
Hmm.
obviously, TCU, we end up having, with Georgia and stuff like that. But again, that's why I say it's matchups. But again,
Yeah, I
most
get
people will
that.
turn around and say they still feel like Michigan was a better team than TCU. They just lost. You see what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
like, so now you're expanding that field to have those same type of discussions. But
Then I thought we seen something like this last year, though. I get what you're saying, bro, about the 12 team payoff and the best team not being there. Because I think a team, I see where you're going with that. Because a team can catch fire, get hot towards the end of the season,
and you're not
get
the
into the
best team.
playoff, and
Yeah.
yeah, and go on a run, right, and just take it off.
Because I mean to take it a step further, last year, I think after the conclusion of the season, obviously Michigan won, but I think you and I would both agree. I don't think Michigan would have beat Georgia last year.
I would have been a very good game. I would have been a very, very good game.
I
You know
don't
what I'm
think
saying?
I don't think it would have been I don't think it'd have been a very good game.
I think so.
I,
I don't. I
I
don't. they
I would have.
trenches was just different last year, Shay. You gotta agree with me on that, bro. Michigan's trenches was just like they was
No,
different,
I
bro.
don't. No, because again, this is what we're talking about. We're talking about a complete team in the University of Georgia versus a team that, again, we're pointing to one aspect of it. Now they had a good offensive line, they had a good, defensive line, back seven, all that stuff like that. But again, when we start getting away from the trenches, when those two things cancel each other out,
Yeah,
now we're moving out to what the lady said in the comments about the skill position. So that's
yeah.
where Georgia. That's what Georgia would have took the advantage of.
But I get that. But their trenches was like Michigan trenches, and their DBs was slept on last year. Like Will Johnson is back. I mean, look, he was arguably one of the best defensive
But
back last year, and
Will
you had your
John,
boy.
you weren't
Well,
gonna put Will Johnson on Brock Bowers though.
Brock Bowers was going to eat, right? He's just one of them players who's going
Exactly.
to eat. But look, they also had a hell of a tight end over there at Michigan too that they practiced
I
against
mean,
week in
love. I
week
mean,
out.
yeah. I mean, yeah.
It's no way to
Loveland.
really tell. All we can do is speculate and argue about who
Yeah, of
was
course.
really
Yeah,
going to
of course
win
we can
that game. You
speculate,
know what I'm saying? Because
but
but
I think
Michigan was
most
just on
people.
some different shit. If Georgia was really worthy of playing Michigan, they probably would have, but they wouldn't have lost to Bama. Bama exposed Georgia in a way last year. That's why they were able to beat them. Let's call it what it is, bro. They
But like I
were, bro.
said, but that goes back to what I just said. Familiarity. Georgia and Alabama have been playing each other for the SEC title the last couple of
Right?
years.
I
So you
get that.
got the mentor versus the mentee. So it's just like a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
Alabama ran Georgia off the field in the SEC championship game. They turned around and played for the national title, albeit, Alabama was down two wide receivers, and it looked like a completely different game.
And you weren't just able to do that with that Michigan team. That Michigan, it was more than just skill position, more than just the trenches. They were resilient. They faced adversity also. They just wanted it more than anybody else
I
last
can
year.
I
They
can
did.
like I said, I can understand that particular point.
Yeah, they
I
did,
can I
bro.
can understand it.
And
But
and I
like I
see where
said,
I see where you coming from too
when
with
you
that, bro.
meet
But like I
when
just
you when it cancels out, when Michigan's offensive line and Georgia offensive line, they cancel out, defensive line cancels out. Now we're gonna get out to the skilled players. We're gonna get to the secondary, all that particular stuff like that. And I
mm,
think that's where Georgia would have had, somewhat of an advantage. I mean, because it's not like they just ran
Michigan played
Bama.
Bama last year, didn't they? They played Bama, right?
Yeah, it came down to the last play of the game.
Yeah, and that was a hell of a game, but they wind up beating
Yeah, of course.
Bama
Yeah,
last year,
yeah, yeah. It was
and
a
the
hell of a
Bama
game. Yeah,
team beat the Georgia team. So I don't know, like,
yeah.
but Michigan, but a lot of people could say that Michigan probably could have lost that game, but they showed extreme resilience in that game to
Yeah.
lock down and to come back and beat a Nick Saban Alabama team like that, who just
Yeah.
had beaten Georgia for the SEC championship. So Michigan was different because a lot of like, and then when we go back to saying you can win with the pass, like Michael Penix wanted to quit versus that Michigan team. He was like, man, fuck, bro. I came in. These Michigan cats is they, you know
But
what I'm
I
saying?
mean,
Like,
but at the same token, again, because this is nitpicking. Washington had a running back that was dealing with an injury. It
yeah.
was it was nothing more than a decoy. Not saying that I
Mhm.
felt like Washington would have been able to pull the game out, but again, like I said, it goes back to we're having this particular discussion where it's like Michigan won, but you can still say, well, I don't think they were the best team last year.
I don't know, man. I think they deserve to be that way, man.
Yeah, yeah. I
They
mean, yeah, they
yeah,
earned it. Yeah, I'm not.
yeah, for
Of course,
sure.
you can't take the national title away
For
from them.
sure.
You know what I'm saying? But like I said,
For sure.
we have a show. Just
every
opinions.
every way you look at that Michigan team last year, I think that's exact. I think that is the blueprint of how you. I don't know now. Do y'all out there think that Michigan's team last year was the blueprint of what you want your college football team to be? Because like not only was the good in the trenches, both sides of the ball, skill positions were under. I mean, you really didn't see a lot out of them because they were able to run the ball so well. JJ McCarthy was able to, run the ball. He was athletic too, but they were resilient. They were focused. They played for each other. Like that's a football team. That is a football team. Like, and I enjoyed watching Michigan last year. But I do think that bro, that can happen again very easily. I think that can happen again in college football. I think that is the way to play football is to run the ball, like because you can, like I said, you could run the ball game and win a game and not pass the ball one to but 4 or 5 times if your line of scrimmage is good. That's just to me though. That's what I think. But you got it. But at some point, to pass the ball well, you're gonna have to run that rock. Um, Damn, that was a good conversation, bro. That was a great conversation, actually. We might have to revisit. That was a great conversation, Chad. Thank you for that, brother. Thank you. Um, Now when we talking about this SC and LSU game, right? A lot of people are really down on SC, but then a lot of people are also looking at and forgetting the fact that LSU only had lost what 3 games last year,
Yeah.
and SC lost 5, and they're supposed to be on the uptick. They did lose their quarterback, who was just fucking different. He was just different, but their new but the quarterback up did show that he can get it done, that he can move that and he can get it done. Period. For Lincoln Riley and that offense to move well enough. They got Branch, linebacker. I think it's just some concerns over at SC, if I'm not mistaken, from what I've been, what I'm saying. But LSU, man, they wasn't far off the reservoir last year, bro. They wasn't too far off, and I think people forgetting a lot about these two teams, both in the SEC and in the Big Ten this year. Um, and what SC can bring, and the physicality of what SC had, man, and what they can bring. So, me personally, man, I don't want to spend too much time on really breaking these two teams down because we what I'm saying, we almost at that 2 hour mark. But just to pick this game, and I'm gonna go ahead and look at the thing, man. Uh, what SC? What am I on? Chad, help me out because I'm looking at the other screen, bro. It's SC and LSU, right?
Yeah. LSU, yeah.
Okay,
USC,
FC and
LSU.
LSU. Trying to look at I can't. Where is it at? Should be up there, right? Um, I'm not seeing it. Somebody out there in the chat, let me know what that what the spread, what the cover is on this. But anyway, I don't need to know, man. I'm going LSU this game, man. I think LSU is about the SEC is definitely about to beat up on each other this year, and I think that they're one of them teams who's going to do it. I like LSU in this game over USC, but I think this is another one of them good games. Obviously, why I put it up there to look at to see that way. But yeah, I'm going LSU this game, man, and that is largely because of I'm LSU, man. LSU. I think they'll win, and it's going to be a good game. Their linebackers, I think they got the linebackers set over there pretty well, and I like some of their DBs they got over there at LSU. I think their trenches is a little bit better offensively than SC's right now, but they both returning some players there. But like I said, SC their backers is a little concerning to me, and that's why I'm going LSU in this game, man. I got to grow with LSU, the Tigers. So who you taking in this game, bro? 'Cause
Oh man,
I cannot find that down.
you got two teams that got new defensive coordinators this particular year.
Yes, bro.
Blake
Yes.
Baker came over from Missouri. You know, tasked with rebuilding something that was once a great defense in the in LSU. Um, Lynn from UCLA has gone over to USC. Personally, I think I'm gonna go with USC in this game.
Oh, why them?
I like again, like I said, I like Brian Kelly. I never doubt what Brian Kelly can do, but I do think that I think the quarterback position is going to be the deciding factor in this game. Um, Daniels did so much for LSU's offense last year, whether it was throwing the ball or whether it was running the ball.
Mm-hmm.
Garrett Nussmeier does not possess those particular attributes and those type of skill sets, right? Um, Same thing goes for Miller Mouse in terms of what Caleb Williams was able to do. But I do think that Miller Moss probably is a better quarterback. I think the skill position on both teams, fantastic. I think this probably will end up being a high scoring game. You know, first week of the season, new defense have to kind of get it, kind of get it together. But like I said, I'm gonna go with USC. I think
All
Lincoln
right,
Riley again. He's facing a
all
lot
right.
of scrutiny from the outside in terms of how bad does he want it, and hey, you don't care about defense. You only care about offense, and you pretty boy, and you know what I'm saying. People are questioning his quarterback coaching acumen. So it's a lot going on right now. You know what I mean? And I think both these, obviously, Lincoln Riley has a lot more pressure on him than Brian Kelly does because Brian Kelly has been as advertised. First year ended up winning the SEC. Was the SEC West, should I say? Beating Alabama. So, but I do think that again, Zachariah Branch is going to end up being the X factor. Both teams, to me, again, the offensive line is going to be the telltale sign because this seems to be the theme of the show today. The unofficial theme is trench play, right? So I
Right.
think LSU probably is going to have, a better offensive line, but I do think that it's going to be unique seeing what Lynn is able to do for a USC defense because the thing of it is they're not devoid of talent over there. They're not.
No, they're
The
not.
the
Nah,
issue has been having
I
someone
don't
that
think so.
understands how to properly utilize that talent. But unfortunately, I must say this because I know you said you didn't want to spend too much time on this. Unfortunately, both teams play a style of offense that leaves the defense in uncompromising predicaments, right? So, um, but like I said, I'm still gonna roll with USC. I think
Nah, I
Lincoln
got
Riley is going to put the world on notice that hey, what happened last year, that's not an that's not that's not an indication of what my tenure is going to be over here at USC. And he needs this win.
now. The thing
Um,
is do we still look at even if SCU loses this game in a close one? Do we still look at Lincoln Riley like he can't get the job done, like he has not improved his football team? Do you still look at him in that fashion?
what if he loses? If they
Yeah,
lose,
I mean, but it's a 3 point loss. Do you still look at him like that though?
as what? Can't get the job done?
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, I'm not gonna look at him like that. But obviously, the growls are going to start to get louder. Because I don't think, if recent memory serves me correctly, I don't think Lincoln Riley has had very much success against SEC opponents. Um, I know the game where they played Georgia back in 18, which was a very great game. It went back and forth. Georgia was able to win out. I think the next year they had Kyler Murray
Uh-huh.
and they lost to Bama. That's when Tua was there. So I don't think he's had very much success against SEC foes. So I do
Yeah,
think
that's
that's
what I'm
I do
saying.
yeah
Like
yeah.
that's
It
so
might
so
and
so
those are
I
just the
think
two notable names.
so why
But
do you think he gonna pull it off against against the SEC team now if he ain't never really had that success before?
simple because what I'm saying is I think because of what Jaden Daniels being so much of LSU's offense
Okay.
last year, I
Hmm.
think that's a lot of that's a lot of production to replace. I think he was their leading passer, obviously, and if I'm not mistaken, was he not their leading rusher as well? Something of that nature. Somebody can fact check it in the comments. So essentially, you
Hmm.
having to replace two types of production, right? That's what you're replacing, but you only
All right.
lost one player. Whereas Caleb Williams was not the leading rusher for, what I'm saying, USC. You know what I mean? So I do think this again. I think that's going to be an interesting aspect, and I think Lincoln Riley made the correct call by going to get a you know stepping away from getting someone that you had a close relationship with and a friend in Alex Grinch, who has not been beneficial to you from a defensive standpoint since y'all linked up, to stepping outside the box and going and get a guy who did some fantastic things at
Okay.
UCLA. You know what I mean? So
I
I
like
you
I
know
like the coaching staff. I like that. I like that, and I like the staff that's going over there. Like I said, I think that's what it's going to come down to is obviously the play calling. They're gonna have to call a hell of a game because I think match up decently when it
Yeah,
comes
see,
to
yeah. To me, it's an even game.
players.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean. I think they match up good when it comes to the players. But Lane, what is it? Malachi Lane supposed to be the running back getting the nod right now for LSU Junior dude. You got Jay Suggs on the defensive line. Then you got that linebacker. Them linebackers being led by what's his name over there at LSU? Come on, help me out, man. There's
Harold,
Paris Strand.
Harold Perkins.
Yeah, they bro, bro. They got they linebackers and they trenches should be a lot better this year. And I think that's the edge right there to LSU. But to give you the points, I think the points I did find them USC by four. They're giving USC 4.5 points. LSU got a supposed to be a close game, but I don't really want to keep
Where's the
going off
game
of
play?
that because they've been
Where's the game
wrong,
played
bro.
at?
They've been wrong.
Where they playing the game at?
I think they're playing on neutral site, Legion Stadium, right? Is that correct me if I'm wrong
So
out
they
there?
playing in
Fact check.
Vegas.
I think they're
Okay,
playing in
okay,
Vegas, yeah, Legion Stadium, if I'm
okay,
not mistaken.
okay.
Let me double check
Yeah.
it though, just to make sure, because I think that's where they are
Four and a
playing at.
half. I mean, that makes
Huh?
sense. Yeah, 4.5. That makes sense. Like I said, man,
Yeah,
he lost a lot in Jane Daniels. Like he lost a crap ton
yeah,
of your entire offense. So I mean, it's gonna be hard to replace.
yeah. I think yeah, I get it, but yeah, I think they'll be able to they'll be all right. We'll see though. We'll see what
Yeah, like I
happens. I
said, I
mean, we'll
mean,
see.
I love a good football game.
But you got USC going in there. You get it with the 4.5. I gotta stay with that LSU. But it's gonna be a great game, man. This is gonna be a good game for both teams. I think to establish themselves and see where they at. I don't think you look at either one of these teams, either one of these staffs or coaches and say that they don't know how to they're not getting it done because shit, both of these teams are fairly decent and both for their conferences last year. So coming back this year, man, look, first game, let's see what they're doing. I think, but I will say this: seeing USC play this SEC team tough will let me know if SC can handle the transition into the Big Ten. I will say that. I will say that. Most definitely. Most definitely. We got to get together, bro. Hey, Shad, man, before we end it, we got to get back up on there, man. Y'all, I'm a end the fan. This is what we gonna do today, y'all. I'm gonna end the fans' point of view the morning after, and then I'm gonna come back right back and I'm gonna open up the floor. We could rap about football and everything, but I gotta end the show and then come back right in. So I'll be back in 10 minutes. Give me 10 minutes, y'all. We'll be back. And I appreciate y'all coming in, supporting us. Hit that like button, share the stream, man. We definitely appreciate y'all coming through. But I will be opening up the show, so make sure that y'all come over to my channel because we about to go right up into it. You know what I'm saying? 10 minutes from now. So 2:20, we'll be ready to rock. All right. So y'all be ready with y'all conversation because I know you got a lot to say, Mazzano. So come through. All right. All right, Shad, don't go nowhere real quick. I'm about to end the stream. Don't go nowhere, bro. Don't. I gotta rap to you about some things. So y'all know how we do it. Saturdays and Fridays, man, is when we go live with the fans' point of view. So I believe so. Next week we'll be ready Friday, 8 p.m. All right. That's when the fans' point of view is next, y'all, man. We appreciate y'all, man. Out.
Wanna see Truck and Chubby live and